I learned a huge lesson from Gary Vaynerchuk, that's just gonna blow your mind, or maybe it's not gonna blow your mind, but I hope that it still helps you. My name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist, and I run 2 companies, my hands-on therapy clinic in Miami, and also Hand Therapy Secrets, helping OTs, have more choices in their career, developing their clinical skills and their business skills. So, I funny enough, I used to not like Gary Vee. I would watch him and I'd be like, "Oh my god, he's like completely over the top." Mind you, I'm completely over the top. But I used to watch him and I'd be like, "Oh gosh, like he curses so much. Is that even okay?" Because even though I might curse or you might curse, sometimes when you see a public figure curse, you're just like, "Is that even right?" Because sometimes we're in these systems where cursing is bad. You learn in school cursing is bad, and then you go to the university system and cursing is bad, and then you're an occupational therapist and you go into these um, professional events, and then you have to be so a certain way, right? And my lesson from Gary Vee is, well, I actually have two lessons. One is be yourself. He is authentically himself all the time, all the time. Even if you don't like him, even if you like him, it doesn't matter to him. He's himself. And it took me a little while to do that publicly, right? I can do that in the comforts of my home, like the people who work with me, my friends, my family know how I can be. I am strong. I am loud. I am like my energy level is like through the roof majority of the time, right? And I curse like a sailor and I'm passionate about stuff. I just didn't know. And I used to always get people to who would tell me, "Oh, Huang, you're too much. You're too much. Oh, stop, you're too much. I can't with you." Right? I used to get all that all the time. And so when I started my own business and I started showing up on social media, doing videos and stuff like that, I always felt like I couldn't be me. I would go to events or I would go to conferences, and I just always felt like I couldn't really be me, or I needed to like make myself smaller for other people because I was too much, right? Um, and I realized, from kind of just watching Gary Vee evolve over the years, like I said, when I saw his stuff, I was like, I don't like this guy. Um, I probably didn't like him because I saw so much of myself in him, but I kept watching some of his stuff because I think it's sometimes it's good when you don't like something, you have to explore why you don't like something, but that's a whole nother topic. But I would keep watching some of his stuff and I was like, I knew, technically speaking, I wanted to be who I wanted to be. That's why I started my own business. I just didn't know I could do it so publicly. And what I learned from him was that even though I knew that, he was my example. He was my example of like, man, he is successful in business, and he um, can be himself. So if I could see that he is successful in business and he is himself, I can be successful in business and I can be myself. And so that was one of my biggest lessons, I think, from Gary Vee. Now, my other biggest lesson, which I also knew, was empathy. Right, I also knew to be empathetic to people, or really what they call compassion. Right, you can be compassionate to people. Empathy is like, really putting yourself in that person's shoes. And he taught me like have empathy for people who criticize you, right? Have empathy for people who criticize you, not because not because you're just so nice, right? Um, but it's really about like understanding that they're coming from a particular place to then criticize you. You know what I mean? So when you have empathy for other people who criticize you, and you can see you can put yourself in their perspective of why they're doing or saying what they're saying, then it's because they're coming from a place of hurt, or they're potentially coming from a place of lack, or they're just coming from a just different place from you. And so it's okay that's happening, right? So when I started sharing my perspective, I started doing being more and more in public, doing videos, sharing my perspective. I would get other therapists who would criticize me, and my initial reaction is to be offended, which I think is normal. And I don't think that you should take that away from yourself. I'm initially offended. So if you criticize me, I'm initially offended. And I'm not going to lie, that shit happens, right? But then I can take a moment and think, okay, well, where are they coming from? And I can then be more, not forgiving for your sake, but forgiving for my sake, right? So that I don't internalize it and I don't think about it. And I knew that. But in practice is a little bit hard, right? In practice is a little bit hard. Like, I'm Buddhist. Buddha teaches you that. Buddha teaches, to like the empathy and to not take certain things to heart and things like that. But dude, we forget. We forget our teachings. But what I thought was really valuable from watching Gary as someone who's a very public figure is that because I can see that, um, it it just reminded me that it's possible, right? And I hope that me sharing this with you helps you to know that it's possible, especially as an occupational therapist. I think most occupational therapists, we're like some of the most caring people. I mean, I'm not necessarily. Okay. We have, I think, OTs. We are some of the nicest groups of people out there. We are caring. We want to help. We are compassionate people. We have put so much emphasis into our learning so that we could solve other people's problems. But sometimes, because we've put so much emphasis in how much we are solving other people's problems, that we forget about ourselves, if that makes any sense. And my lesson is, like, you can be yourself. You can be yourself. That was one of my biggest lessons from watching Gary Vee. And you can be yourself, and then you could turn that around because you can be yourself and you're more authentic, and you're filling your cup. I see it as like, your cup can be full, and because it's full and it flows over, that's what you give. And then because you can give more, you can be more empathetic, and you don't have to take things as they come to you. Even if they're given to you, you can say, I don't receive. Right? I don't. So yeah, I hope that really helps you. And I think that when it comes to OTs in business, we need to be more ourselves, right? We need to be more ourselves because we're going to attract people who want to be around us. If you think about, your clinic, and you're building your clinic business, I am a type of therapist, right? I provide very particular type of therapy. I help people with hand and arm injuries. I help them after surgeries, things like that. When I first started my business, and what attracted people to me was not because of just my letters, was not because just just me helping them remove stitches and move a joint, right? We think that that's what they're coming for, but really what they're coming for is your personality, your way of making them feel comfortable, your way of making them feel at ease with you. Like, when I sit and I talk to a patient, they feel so at ease with me that they they share information. They tell me things. I get to know so much about the patients that I work with. They share their fears, they share their worries, they share their concerns, and they tend to ask the same questions over and over and over again. And the way I have created my space is that it is safe for them to ask as many questions as they want. They can ask it as many times as they want, and I will give them the answer that they need to hear. Not that they want to hear sometimes, but I can give it in the way that they need to hear. And so your patients come to you because of you, not just your skill. You know, they'll stay because of your skills. They'll stay longer and more, and because you are you. And like because you're willing to be who you want to be, then you're more pleasurable to be with, right? Because you get to do what you want to do, you are more, you're more happy, you're more content. And so because of that, you attract the right people who you want to work with, right? So um, this helps not only in marketing when you are attracting people into your business. This helps you in sales when you're having conversations and helping people make decisions on working with you. This helps when you have them in your clinic and you want them to stay the however many sessions they need in order to keep coming back and over and over. And that falls under, like, if you break up in the business, falls under operations, right? You're delivering on the promise that you offered. And so being you and being happy with who you are, and knowing how you are and knowing how the other person is allows you to attract the right people and keep the right people into your business, through being you and having that type of empathy. So I saw it in Gary Vee, who then helped me to say, oh, because I saw it there, I can, I know that it's something possible for me that I could do. And I'm hoping that by sharing this, that you can see that this is possible for you too. Go look him up. You'll see he's got tons of stuff out there, so much more than I have. But if that has tremendously helped me. I've learned it from a lot of other people as well, but I would say from him, he was, my example of something that I didn't necessarily like, and then I was like, oh, like these are the two lessons that I was like that I felt like was profound and has helped me throughout my business. And yeah, so I thought I'd share that with you, and I hope that that helps you to know what's possible for you. Watching another OT grow her business and grow two businesses, and show you what's possible for you. All right. Let me know what you think in the chat below. And if you want more tips and you want more help, the links are below to join my OT Business Corner. All right. Until next time. Thanks.